There is new footage out from an Israeli television channel showing the moments where 10 IDF soldiers allegedly raped a Palestinian detainee at a facility where there has been rampant abuse documented by the New York Times and others called Sde Teiman. You might have remembered it because a couple weeks ago, mobs of Israelis actually raided the facility in order to defend any soldiers from facing accountability for their actions against those detainees. But more about the footage, we're gonna show you some stills from it. We won't show you the actual footage, but in it you see detainees lying on the ground in gray suits, sort of in a row with surrounded by razor wire. And they're lifting up one of those detainees. They take him to a corner of what seems to be, the facility, a hangar, and they're wearing masks. And then 3 of them are holding their shields that they use supposedly in combat to actually shield what they are doing to this man, which, as we now know, included raping him. And again, this is alleged, but if the hospital workers who treated him are to be believed, that is what is happening here. More on that, because the whole reason we know about this case, and don't get it twisted, this is one of so many cases, but it's because his injuries were so severe that he had to be treated at a civilian hospital, not at a military hospital. And that's why there's been more information about what happened to him. We still don't know his identity. We don't know his involvement in October 7th or anything like that, but we'll get to some of the reaction later. But more about what happened. He had life-threatening injuries, including broken ribs, quote, obvious signs of assault to the abdomen and chest, and a severe injury to the rectum, most likely caused by the insertion of a foreign object, one of the medical staffers said. Another medical staff, the same medical staffer who treated the detainee said, quote, it was pretty horrifying. It's just setting the bar so low. I don't know how we can deteriorate more morally. I was aware things like that could happen, but I've never witnessed anything like it. Another Israeli doctor, Yoel Donshin, confirmed to the Wall Street Journal that he saw the allegedly abused detainee and was shocked by his condition, which he had earlier said to the Israeli newspaper Haaretz. He told the paper he couldn't believe an Israeli prison guard could do such a thing. Well, I think Palestinian detainees who have been treated this way for many, many years now would beg to differ. But it actually caught the notice of the State Department. They had to be prompted. There was a question about it, but here is what Matt Miller, a spokesperson for the State Department in the United States, said.
We have seen the video, and reports of sexual abuse of detainees are horrific. They ought to be investigated fully by the government of Israel, by the IDF. Prisoners need to be treated, prisoners' human rights need to be respected in all cases, and when there are alleged violations, the government of Israel needs to take steps to investigate those who are alleged to have committed abuses and, if appropriate, hold them accountable.
So on that accountability, of the 10 who were arrested, 5 have been let go. 5 are still being questioned. There's still an ongoing investigation. And again, this is just a drop in the bucket. But before I kick it to you, Cenk, I just wanted to show you some of the reactions inside of Israel. You know that there were mobs who stormed the facility, but there are also people openly either on television, or in this case, this is a Likud party member, Hanak Mildwisky, who said that yes, this kind of treatment is justified. Take a look.
לרקטום של בן אדם, זה לגיטימי?
כן, אם הוא נוח'בה, הכל לגיטימי לעשות לו.
אוקיי,
הכל.
מצוין.
הכל.
זה מה שרציתי.
הכל, האנשים האלה, אתה יודע מה עשו?
אוקיי.
So he says yes, if this person was part of the Nukba unit, which is a Hamas military unit that was involved in the October 7th attacks, again, nothing linking this person to them. And even if there were, this is a question of whether or not that is justified, not under international law. But then here is a television commentator within Israel basically saying the same thing. This is totally fine and legit.
חבריי שבגדול זה מעניין לי את העכוז, לא, מה עושים לבחורצ'יק הזה.
מה? זה מה שבאמת מעניין אותך?
חד משמעית, אני אתן לי...
רגע, חיילים שמבצעים עבירה, חשודים בעבירה של אינוס, בעצור כפות. זה לא מעניין אותך? לא מעניין אותך תואר המידות של החיילים שלנו? אגב, אלה לא חיילים, אם הם עשו את זה, הם לא חיילים, הם עבריינים.
בגדול, עוד פעם, זה מעניין לי את העכוז מה עשו לאיש חמאס הזה. אני כל הזמן זוכר, קודם כל, הדבר היחיד שמבחינתי הוא בעיה פה, זה שזו לא איזושהי מדיניות מוסדרת של המדינה.
So there he says he doesn't give a rat's ass what they did to this person. And in fact, his only problem with it is that it's not sanctioned by the IDF. In other words, why is there an investigation happening? Now, Cenk, in both of those clips, there are people who are pushing back in case you think everyone inside of Israel is part of the mob that's trying to, exonerate these soldiers. But where's the bottom here? Like, when does the depravity end? And I'm sorry, but the mealy-mouthed statements from the State Department, the investigations, first it's the hospitals, then it's Hind Rajab, the 6-year-old killed inside of her car with her whole family. There's never gonna be an honest investigation. And what's gonna happen if and when there is? What will the US do?
Yeah, I know what they're gonna do. And I wanna get to the diversity within Israel in a second. But first, to your point about the State Department's spokesperson, let me do a translation for you. We're so outraged, we're considering sending them another $26 billion to do it again and again and again. If you're outraged, you show it by saying, hey, I don't want to fund this. This is an atrocity. But if you ask that brother, he'll tell you, no, wait, we're going to send them more money, more money. So where's the outrage? You're not outraged, so shut up about it. Stop lying. That guy's nothing but a giant serial pathological liar. His job is to lie, and not even on behalf of America, on behalf of Israel. So, by the way, if you want to know, most of the people that they keep in that prison are civilians that they have never presented any evidence against. And the kangaroo courts that the IDF runs in cases where IDF soldiers are charged, which is very, very, very rare, they acquit 99% of the time. Cases where Palestinians are charged, they convict 99% of the time. It's absurd. So, our spokesperson said the IDF is handling it. Well, then I'm sure the people who did the rape are probably in a best position to adjudicate whether it was a rape or not. So all of this is absurd. And so what you're seeing there is actually hostages. Israel takes hostages all the time. They take thousands of hostages, and then they go, okay, we want our hostages back. It's terrible when Hamas takes hostages, but when Israel takes hostages, we call them prisoners, detainees. Well, do you have any evidence that they're connected to Hamas? No, I don't. Who cares? Who cares? Because Israel can do anything they want. Now, to the diversity within Israel, it was an Israeli doctor that turned them in. He said this is not, it shocked his conscience, right? So are there people like that inside Israel? Of course, look at the cabinet, the Knesset member who's fighting back against the right wing there. Look at the panelist who's fighting back against the right wing Israeli commentator. So we're not gonna do cartoon stereotypical characters of either side or any side of any conflict, okay? All of these things are complicated with plenty of people on all sides, and Netanyahu gets protested all the time. Now, having said that, let's tell you about the other side of Israeli society. As Franny referred to there, settlers rushed the gates to free these guys. They were so moved that the rapists be freed. They're like, what do you mean? They were just raping Palestinians. That's great. This is our land. God told us it's our land, so we stole Palestinian land. And I want to congratulate those beautiful guys who raped those Palestinians. Look, fundamentalists of all stripes are a scourge upon this earth. I don't care what religion they're from. They believe they're talking to an invisible person, and that invisible person always tells them to kill anyone that is not in their group, take their land, and to try to start a giant war. If you're a psychopath who thinks you're talking to a homicidal, invisible person, I'm not interested in your goddamn opinion. Those settlers should have been thrown out a long time ago. They're the ones that are causing most of the problem in the entire region, and the ones that might drag us into World War III in the Middle East. So now, when Hamas did sexual assault on October 7th, we were all outraged. And Israel was so outraged, they killed 40,000 Palestinians, 2/3 of whom are women and innocent women and children. When Israel does the same thing, not only will we not support the Palestinians fighting back, of course not. We won't support the Palestinians to even get a state, of course not. We won't even support ending the war and ending the rape and ending the atrocities, of course not. But we'll send them billions of dollars. So when one side does it, 40,000 people get killed. When the other side does it, they get a $26 billion gift. Anyone who thinks that's fair has lost their humanity.
Right. Because it's pure racism, Cenk. I mean, and this is the other thing. It's that Palestinians are not human, and we are being told, supposedly, in the eyes of the genocide enablers and the ones who are carrying it out. And so I'm glad that there's dissent within Israel. Good, that's great. But you saw in the second clip the man say, do we not believe in the morality of our army? And once again, we remember that the IDF, it's the defense forces. They call themselves the most moral army on earth, with zero sense of irony, of hypocrisy, with zero understanding of their own soldiers who've blown the whistle on their own actions, who say, yes, I killed, I maimed, I raped, and honestly, half of it was out of boredom. We've seen these soldiers raid people's bedrooms, put on women's lingerie, relish in obliterating schools for children as they dance on them, saying, yay, there'll be no more education. So at what point, like what Israel are we defending here? Are you all, what moral army is there? Where's the front line? Where's the front line? Can anyone tell me where the front line in this war with Hamas is? No, you can't, because it's not a real war. It's a genocide. I mean, I don't have any words, but truly, I hope that the liberal Zionists watching, listening, hey, you've been on this show before, understand it's always been this way. The IDF has always relished in war crimes because they consider themselves superior racially, ethnically to the Palestinian people. And they have the biggest attack dog, the United States, in their corner. And I hope you know this is the country you defend.
All right, my last thoughts on it are, again, to the diversity within Israel. Even Shin Bet, their internal security, is saying, don't do this. This is a terrible idea. And it goes to the point I've been making throughout. Do you think this is good for Israel? To be known as people who rape their prisoners? To be known as the butchers that killed 25,000 women and children? How does this help Israel? How does this create a safe haven for Israel? How is it bombing 3 Arab capitals going to help Israel be safe? It's people have lost sight of reality in their rage. And so they can't see straight, and they have become what they most despised. And so, and you see us showing grace to Israel here by saying, don't just judge all of them. There's a lot of people inside Israel that are definitely against this. Do they show this? Does the other side here in America show the same grace to Palestinians? Because what I see often is, they're all Hamas. They all agree to the same ideology. They're all Muslims who believe in violence. They can never be redeemed. You can't make a peace deal with these guys, with these people. They're all anti-Semites. They're all Nazis, right? I see that 24/7 all over social media and unfortunately all over mainstream media. Can you treat the Palestinians as human beings for once in your life? Is 57 years of brutal oppression not enough? What do you want from these people? Jesus Christ, let them go already.
That's we have to break, but that is the most important point, Cenk, is do you extend the same grace to the Palestinian people that we're supposed to extend to the Israeli people? Oh, they don't all agree, we hate Netanyahu. Well, what about Palestinians who don't agree with Hamas? Who don't want to be represented by them, who don't want to suffer for the attacks that they waged? Do we have grace for them? No. We kill everybody. They're all Hamas. That point a million times over that point.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a young Turk.